arm is actually supposed to be issued by the commander.
Okay.
Which I guess in this particular case would be the guy that we now see on the bullhorn with units 4 and 6, or somebody inside the command center. I'm not really sure. Not Breck himself. And McDonald certainly didn't have the line "and organized." So they're trying to draw a point there. It's just there's an element of Breck's surprise that is unusual because they took over the Ape management, and they're now moving around. And the sudden surprise after defeating a unit that had guns is a little like, good God, they're armed. That should have happened earlier. Like, it should have been a shock and surprise. Now we need units 4 and 6 because they're armed.
And if anything, I think that those lines, both they're armed and organized, should be coming from the troopers, and the governor and McDonald should be hearing it. So that information becomes a threat to the people in the moment. If they're like, oh my God, there's more of them. They're organized. They're armed. And then that becomes a threat that the governor hears. He shouldn't be the one observing this.
Right. The surprise should be from the troops themselves.
Right.
Like, oh shit, they've got knives.
That McDonald, what McDonald has observed, what has told him that they're organized?
Exactly. That's why he should have that information.
All he's seen is this footage right now of them coming at the guard, units 4 and 6. There's no organization in that. There was a breakout in Ape management, and then this is all he knows. He doesn't know that they've stolen weapons and have been planning all this and have gasoline and all that. He doesn't know they're organized.
Here comes my Star Wars correlation again. Think about the Death Star, and how many times do we cut to the Rebel command where Leia and all these people are listening, and they hear the threat? We lost so-and-so, this and this and this. They're hearing they're hearing the battle, and they are us. And that's what the governor should be at this point is, oh my God, this is overwhelming. But to keep hearing those feeds, that's where that information comes from. I
mentioned earlier about intersecting the Ape management with the warnings for the citizenry to abandon the courtyard because of what's going on. This 5 minutes this week really could have been just saved with simple editing. They could have used these same shots in these same moments.
Yeah.
Maybe a beat of a score here or there, and the editor could have reworked this in such a way that we could have got the same kind of tension going out rather than these confrontation, run away, like this kind of like constant. I guess they're supposed to be small skirmishes as opposed to just overtaking.
Right.
And the command center lines could have been done someplace else a little bit earlier, maybe, so that we know what's coming.
I mean, ultimately, okay, so we know the apes want to overthrow the humans. But is that simply what this attack is? Is just go kill humans, or do they have a goal? Have they ever stated we need to get to the command center to do this? Have they ever stated any of that?
Yeah, if we kill the governor, then everything will be better. Or is it bring the whole system down? Yeah, they haven't said what their end goal is.
If we go back to those moments when Caesar shows up again. And the apes are moping around, and he has that ominous Phantom of the Opera look, and he just nods at them. If he'd given a speech at that point, I've been to their control center, and I've died there, but I'm still here. One of those kind of almost grandiose kind of things. We have to overtake their centers that where they torture us, where they do these things. Give that damn speech. We asked for it back then. That speech should be telling us what they want, what they're going to do before they go do it. That's how close this moment is it just needs something to draw it together.
It would have been nice to have the camera footage earlier and the person to utter, good God, they're armed, at the moment a little before to be the motivation for units 4 and 6 to come out.
Show up, yeah.
Right, to show up. And then have Caesar walk, to Todd's point earlier, have Caesar walk across the bridge by himself. And come out by himself. And then have Sean's moment where they all kind of converge from behind him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If Caesar had come across that bridge by himself to face units 4 and 6, that would have been a pretty powerful statement. And then to have...
Go ahead. I'm so sorry. Please.
No, but just that. They're armed earlier to bring out, to force units 4 and 6 to come out because they realize they're now armed, to have Caesar alone walk across it, and then have his legion come behind him moments later. Like 4 and 6 are about to fire on Caesar himself, and then everybody else just kind of swells around him.
So, as you orchestrate the things Sean and I have said, imagine this. Here you are up against, hey, we think we have an R-rated film. We need to cut it down. We're going to redo this. If you do that, Caesar alone, all the guards are there, 4 and 6 come because they've heard reports of them being armed. Suddenly they're swarmed by more guerrillas who are armed. Now let's cut back to the governor as the governor hears, and they're killing all the troops. You don't have to show it. It's less forceful. Probably doesn't go as hard against you for a harsh rating.
True. Yeah.
And there are ways around it that you can still. Dr. Zhivago has that famous scene where Zhivago's watching a band, and suddenly there's a revolution, and then he just sees the bass drum roll by. It implies that person carrying the bass drum moments ago has run into it and been killed. It's the same kind of thing. You're visually telling that story. That would be a huge missed opportunity where you probably could have told an even deeper, harsher battle by just not showing it or showing the reaction in Breck's eyes. Bum, bum, bum.
I like the fact.
End of the week.
I like the fact that Breck is thinking as he should. What we were saying in previous minutes of the apes are charging. All right, we just shot, and now we're not going to shoot anymore. He's saying, just fucking kill them all. Let's go. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Wipe them out. Now, he's yelling at a monitor. What I don't understand is, there's an intercom system that goes to the entire courtyard. So why is he not on the mic screaming, massacre them all?
Well, it would have been kind of funny if he's yelling. Not funny, but it'd be kind of cool if he was shouting that out in the command center itself. And the troops themselves are not getting that command right away, so they're sitting in the silence. Just like that, just kind of that crazed maniac moment where nothing can respond to him.
Right.
Yeah. Or you just cut to the outside of the building and you see the troops there, and you just hear him from the inside, very muffled. Kill them all. And they're like, kiss them all? What is he saying?
And that would be that moment where that gorilla tries to bring a knife out, and that's what motivates Breck to freak out even more.
Yeah.
The one inside the command center.
Oh,
so then
these movies, they're so close.
So then we cut back outside of the command center, and the camera shot is the shot that the monitor was seeing before.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So all they did was take the film and put it in the monitor instead of, that's something that you'll see a lot of when you start to pay attention to older films where they would have unmotivated camera views in monitors that would actually be somebody shooting it rather than a security camera or something like that.
Nowadays, you can do that if you were to do this. If you had that footage in the monitor and it's a little pixelated so it looks like it, and then you slowly dissolve over to it, and it's almost like telling the people, hey, we're now looking
cinematic
at a good shot
thing.
You could do that, but it is so bad that it's so obvious also that it's just a optically placed image. They've literally cut it out so it sits in that area, and it's like, and then there are no lights on the monitor. There's nothing. It just looks like a dead shot of a monitor.
Well, right. When they've got the kind of the buttons and the sliders and the dials that were dominating like a third of the screen to the right, which is just unnecessary. I'm like, why was that even there? Why was that even part of it? There should have just been a tie to the monitor itself.
Because it's the future.
Oh,
we also should have had a shot almost low angle, like if the monitor, the edge of it, so that we see the governor over the top of it, so we place him in the moment. Instead, we just have a very wide angle. They're looking down at a console, and then it just implies it, and it's kind of like, I guess that's what they're looking at. We don't really place them in the moment.
Yes.
Okay. I think we're done with that minute. We've been pretty savage this week.
Yeah, I think we finished this week.
Well, this movie definitely is escalating to a new place. If you think about, so the original has its sense of adventure, but the doom that goes along with when he begins to realize what's happening. Then we have the chaos that is beneath, but then almost the sweetness of escape that ends with the tragedy. Boy, this one doesn't even have it is just brutal nonstop. And I think that also may be another reason why a lot of this doesn't work as well, is we should have had moments of Caesar and Lisa, something, or more of Caesar and Armando somewhere. It just feels brutal all the way from about 30 minutes on in. It just never stops.
Yep.
All right. That's the end of the week. That's minute 70. We'll be back tomorrow with an in-between. And until then, I hope everyone has a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The Minute of the Apes. The Minute